Hey guys, it's Hayes with CheatSheetPros.com. Today is January 10th, 2024, and I want to go through and take a look at some DK prop / price pick lines for the slate tonight on the slightly revamped cheat sheet. I had a death in the family, so I didn't make sports bets for about 5 days. Yesterday I made a couple, posted some, but I want to go through and just kind of take a look at some of the NBA player props and price picks for tonight and some things that are jumping out on this early sheet. As always, you can see here we have tabs for everything from sports betting, player props, prize picks. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to focus on the DK props tab. So over here, if you haven't seen this in a while, we've got some new stuff. Over here, we brought the Vegas numbers. We brought the team total, the Vegas total, and the line. And then over here, we have the pace rank for the team and the opponent. So you can tell if it's going to be a fast game, a slower game. And we got kind of a little mix on the pace projection rank. And then also someone wanted to see minutes, so I brought in the projected minutes for the player that evening, and then the minutes they've averaged the last 3. And then we have a difference column. So if it's plus or minus 2, that's just normal calculation. There's nothing that changes. If it's a down by more than 2, it turns red. If it's up by more than 2, it turns green. So here you can see a couple players projected to play 4 more minutes, projected to play 6 less minutes. So that's kind of how that works. We also have some neat player labels we put in here. We also revamped and brought back the algo. So I always sort by the algo. That's kind of the first place that I start. And then we revamped the DVP to look at the specific player position. So before we would just look and see what does the opponent allow for rebounds just as a team, and that's kind of what we were pulling. But since we went and we revamped, to the specific position for all of the stats, we flip that around, so then we have a main position played for every player, and then it pulls the DVP for the particular stat that we are looking at. So for example, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these. So these player flags, these aren't meant to give you the exact plays. They'll help to narrow down your player pool. So if you have like 3 parameters and you would like to see a custom label, let me know. I'm happy to take a look at it and put it in there. For example, I put mine in there for Hayes Pool. It's got a couple parameters of what I use to kind of narrow down some of the guidelines. We have Ben. He's got a certain parameter on his, so I put his in. He's still looking at it to see if he wants to make any changes. And then we've got some other random labels in here. We have some diamonds, some mini diamonds. Those are players that are meeting a lot of the criteria. And then we got some default, like with this wild up and down. That's just a player who's basically boom or bust. We got high unders, high overs. The streaks will pop up. Have a little catch-alls, but I start over here on the algo. I sort high to low. That's usually how the sheet comes. Let me go ahead and flip that up. So high to low. And then I'm going to kind of go through, look at the players, and kind of look at these hit rates. Those are the first 2 things that I look at. You'll see some players have a lower hit rate. Some have higher hit rates. We have streaks. Oh, one more thing. Also on the streaks, I added the negative so you can see the streak under. So for example, these players right here, they have 7 games under their prop line. So that's one to take a look at. Instead of stopping at 0, I flipped it the other way to make it go negative as well so we can see the ups or the downs. So hit rate last 5, let's go ahead and sort by that. We're going to flip through, kind of take a look at some of the players, how they've been doing. These are going to be some of the hotter players. And then I will go through and I will sort by the player flags to kind of narrow down the pool, because as you can see, there are an absolute ton of props here. So without filtering out, there's probably 500 plays, somewhere around there. So I'm going to go ahead and, if you're not familiar with Excel, click on this little caret up here. It gives you a drop down, and then everything is selected. Just unselect the select all, and then nothing is selected. And then these are the available labels, and you can go through and pick out which ones you want. For example, let's start off with Ben picks. So Ben's pick, this is his parameters. Once we get everything finalized, I'll post kind of what they are. His was, can't remember real quick. I think it was over 70% on last 7. And then it had a 20% or better usage split in the last 5, or different split last 5, and a lower standard deviation. Maybe, I don't know. We'll take a look at it. But some of his plays, I'm going to come over here and just filter these alphabetically so we can look at them. So his are a lot of high percentage plays. So we have Wemby, Paul George, and Keldon 3-point shots, 1.5, 3.5, 1.5, and then all of those are 71% over the last 7. So basically they've hit at least 5 of the last 7. Here you can see Wemby, he's got 5 in a row, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, and decent DVP, 21st. All of these are pretty good except for the last one with Trey Jones. So we like Wemby over 3-pointers. Paul George 3-point shots is 3.5. That's a little high, but he's got a 100% hit rate over the last 3, 80% over the last 5, and 71 over the last 7. So 4, 4, 6, 5. I mean, he's sliding over that without a problem, and his floor has been 2, and he had a game of 3. So he's pretty close to that. And then they're going up against Toronto, who's 25th and allowing 3-point shots to the forward. So that's not a bad play as well. Keldon Johnson, 1.5. Taking a look at him, it looks decent. I'm just not real familiar with Keldon Johnson. I don't know a ton about him, so it's not one that really jumps out at me. But he's got 3-2-1, 3-1, 3-2. So you could say his floor is at least 1-3, and he's getting as high as 3. So over 1.5 wouldn't be a terrible play. Wouldn't argue that with anyone. Reggie Jackson rebounds. The only thing I don't like about this are his minutes. He's projected for 17. He's playing 18. So those 15 to 20 minute players are kind of risky up and down, but he only needs 2 rebounds. And he's got 3-3-0-4-2-0. So that's not a terrible play if you're looking for something to kind of sneak in there on like a Prize Picks card. Trey Jones, he's averaged 30 minutes. He's only supposed to play 23 tonight, so he's got an 8-minute drop, so I would be careful of that. Rebounds against Detroit, it's a little bit tougher DVP. I'd probably stay away from that one. But I don't mind these first 4 up here. They all look pretty solid to me. I think I posted something. Ben's picks went 5-1, I think it was, last night. I posted it on Twitter and in the group. And then let's go over and take a look at the Hayes pool. So this is kind of what I use for my player pool. And it's a decent hit rate. I can't remember exactly what it is. Is there a line missing up there? Okay, yeah, there's one more player we hid. Is there another one? Hang on a second. I must have clicked something and flipped around. Okay, now I think we're back to normal. All right, we'll go from Ben pick back to Hayes pool. Okay, hopefully that looks better. Let's alphabetize these so you can see we have 3 player points, 3 points, rebounds, assists, and 2 rebound props that pop up. My parameters, I haven't set anything yet on Vegas lines to adjust for blowouts, but I've got a pretty high hit rate, and then what I like to see is a difference here from their last 5 average and the line of at least 2. So I don't look at the percentages much, but at least 2 units of whatever it is we're looking at. Points, PRA, or rebounds. Those are things that jump out at me. So let's flip down some of these. So Mathurin, points, 17.5. You can see 26, 20, 18, 25, 20. And then the 2 floor games, 15 and 16. So he's like right there. So if his floor is 15 points, looks pretty good to me. And another thing, check their minutes, average versus played. You want to make sure that's about the same. You don't want to... Someone in the chat was talking about Killian Hayes going under. He did go under, and that was a good pick. But I wanted the person to know, like, hey, he's averaging about 15 minutes a game, but with Cade Cunningham out, he's projected to play 30 minutes, so just be aware of that. So that's one of the reasons we brought in the minutes. And then over here, Jason Tatum, he's not projected. I don't know why. He's been averaging 31.5 minutes, but he's only projected for 23. So I would keep an eye on that. Again, I've been away for about 5 days, so I'm still getting in the mix of things. But points, 26.5. He's got 30, 30, 30, 30, 38, 31, 25 is his floor. 26.5 isn't bad. I don't love it, though. I would probably look on DK for like an alt line, and if you can get 25 plus, that's one that I would rather have. Siakam, his points, he had a couple down games before coming back. 20.5 is kind of tough because you've got that hook there, but he had 4 games over it, 2 games under it, and then I think last night he went over it. And then our PRA numbers, we have John Collins, Tatum, Giddey, Sabonis, Siakam, and Jalen Williams. So what I'll probably do is take like Giddey and Jalen Williams, since they both play for Oklahoma, take an alt PRA, put them together, something where it gives me like plus 110, some plus money. You can see they've both been killing their number. We have 22.5. He's got 24, 26, 16, 37, 31, 24. And then Jalen Williams is 25.5, and he's got 38, 30, 30, couple low ones, 27 and 39. So I like Jalen Williams better because he's getting way over that number. And then Giddey at 22.5, you can see he's only over by 1.5, 3.5 under, and then he had a couple way over games. But I kind of lean Jalen Williams if you're only looking for the one play there. And these last two, and I can't believe I was in the chat talking this morning with, I can't remember who, but RJ Barrett rebounds. It's always at 4.5. You can see it's at 4.5 again. And this is one where just 3 days in a row, I just kept letting it ride. And he'd just cash. Which you can see over here, his floor is 4 rebounds. So he's a big boomer bust player. But he grabs a lot of boards. Look at this, 6, 9, 7, 4, 6, 10. So he's 5 out of 6, and the one he missed by a hook. So RJ Barrett over 4.5 rebounds is one of my favorite plays. And let me highlight that real quick so I don't forget it. By the time I'm running kids around to sports and events and dropping them off and coming back, I'll sit down and be like, well, what was I going to bet? I forgot. And then Simone, how in the world do you say this? Farachio? However that is. I don't mind his rebound prop 2.5. I love these little low numbers where they could get lucky and get it early, but you can see he does have a tough DVP. But 3, 7, 4, 7, 6, 7. His average over the last 5 is 5.4, and the line is only 2.5. So there's a big difference there. So I like that one. He's someone else that I wrote down as a rebound. Where did he go? Yeah, I got him on a small card I'm going to put in. And then when we flip out here, let's clear out some of these. And I got this line somehow messed up in here. I must have clicked something and jacked this thing up. Here, let's just do this. We're going to close the sheet. We're not going to save it. We're going to go back here. We are going to open the sheet. And then when this opens, we're going to go right back here. All right, so now our line shouldn't be smashed now. All right, now let's go back. Now, you can flip through here. So Ben's pick is one I look at. Hayes pulls the other one I look at. I look for diamonds. So any diamond, mini diamond, I pull those up because those are kind of the top plays that meet most of the categories. Let's go ahead and sort this. So the bottom two are mini diamond plays. So Peyton Watson, he's not playing a ton of minutes, 18 to 22 minutes, but he's going over his props a lot. So points, 7.5. Yeah, I gotta like that. 20, 14, 8, 19, 15. He had one game where he only had 4. That's fine. I would probably look at that and see if he took the same amount of field goal attempts or if he just didn't play that many minutes. But on a lower minute player, they are a little risky, but his PRA, a little better. He's averaging, I like looking, if there's 2 plays, I look over here at this last 5 split, and I want to take the one that's got the higher difference. So his points prop, last 5, he's 4.5 over, but his PRA is 4.9 over. So those are both pretty good. They're solid. But if one was like 1.5 points over or 4.9 points over, I would lean to the play that is 4.9 points over. And then over here we have a bunch of unders. I typically don't bet unders. I did like the Dallas under last night, and I wrote that up in the plays, and it hit, but I did not bet it. I tend to try to stay away from those, even though unders are typically pretty profitable plays. Some of the ones that pop up here are rebounds and assists. So taking a look at those, they're all 0% over the last 3 games. 2 of them are 0% over the last 5 games, and they're all under 30% over the last 7 games. I kind of like this Klay Thompson one. Rebounds, it's only 3.5, but he's got 6 games under. And look at this: 0, 3, 3, 3, 2, 0. And it's a tough DVP spot going up against the Pelicans, who don't give up a ton of rebounds, especially to, perimeter shooters out there. So under 3.5 rebounds isn't a bad play. I wouldn't fault anyone for that. Siakam rebounds is a little bit tougher just because, he's a bigger guy. He's usually always in the mix. But again, a little tougher DVP. And 4.6, 4.7, 5, 5, 5. He's been falling under that. I don't know why, but that's one. I wouldn't fault anyone. Carson Wallace has been popping up on a lot of things. I don't really know who this guy is. He's only playing low 20s. Tough spot to go on someone that's not playing a ton of minutes. And Scotty Barnes kind of shocked me to see an under on his rebounds, but his last 5 games, 3, 2, 4, 2, 6. I would look into that a little bit more. He's in a really tough DVP spot, and they are going to need him to step up. And then over here we have Chet. And I don't know what happened to him. Once he got hurt and missed a couple of games, he kind of fell off the map because he was almost money for a double-double at least every other night. And now he's down to 3, 3, 6, and 4 rebounds. And then going up against Miami. And then Sengun, assist under 4.5. These are kind of up and down props. I don't love them. But 2, 4, 1, 4. Yeah, I'd probably stay away from that. When they're that close, when they're getting 4 consistently and it's just the hook, those are kind of scary. I'd stay away from that. But I do like the Clay under on the rebounds. That one does jump out to me. On some of the points props, I think on the Hayes picks, they had Kobe, Mathurin, and Tatum. I'll probably put those 3 together with like an alt line. But some of the other tips and tricks on the sheet when you're using this is you can come over here to team total, sort high to low, and find out, okay, Indy, they are the team that's projected to score the most points tonight. They are a 7-point favorite, but you can go through and kind of say, okay, well, on the Indy players, which ones jump out? Who's doing good? Who's doing bad? So you can filter it out by the game. You can sort it by that. You can even do Vegas total if you just want to see the combo of the game, which you can see here. This brings up Washington, Indy. They're the top 2. Then you scroll down, you get Atlanta, Philadelphia. So it's going to show you players from both sides. We go to San Antonio and Detroit. And then you can also go through and filter it by pace if you want to see which team's the fastest on the slate. So here we have Atlanta. They have the fastest pace. They have a 12th pace. Philadelphia on the other side. And then you can kind of go down from there and you can sort either side. You can also sort by minutes, hit rates, last 3, last 5, last 7. You can look at the differences. I do like to look at the last 5 difference. And so here you can see Tatum, and his prop is PRA 38.5. He's been over it quite a lot. The other ones I like to look at are these big hitter. So a lot of people always ask me what big hitter means, and I'm just like, I'll do the key once it's ready. Big hitter is someone, if you're on DK and you're doing an alt line, that you can tease up. So it's like a boom or bust player. It's a player that could score 10 under his total, or he could go 15 over and it wouldn't be a shock. So let's take a look at some of those, and that'll kind of help get you guys started. So there's only 4 big hitters tonight. So RJ Barrett, PRA, obviously that's one of them. So he's got a line of 25.5. Now when he's missed it, 20, 24, 22. But when he's went over it, look, he has a 38, a 49, and then a couple just slightly over. So this 38 and 49, that's kind of a indicator that like you could alt this up to 30 plus at plus 200 or 250 or 300, and he's someone that would be viable that could get up there and get that number. These players also have a high standard deviation, which means they are going way up or way down. Basically, boom bust is probably what I should have called it. That would have been easier. And then you've got, let's see, Simone, we'll call him Fettuccine, 13.5 points, 21, 32, 27, 14, 16, 9. So he's someone that you could tease up to 20 plus and get huge money, and he's been hitting that consistently and been up around that range. Keegan Murray points is the other one, 14.5. He's got 28 and 32 in just 2 of his last 4 games. So he's another one that would be a big hitter. And then RJ Barrett points. This one's always scary because he's a horrible shooter. But 17.5, he's missed it with 14, 14, 14. But he's got a 37 and a 23, so he has the ability to go big as well. But anyways, Those player labels, a lot of people have liked them, so it just kind of helps narrow down your player pool when you're doing your research. So some of the my favorite play is R.J. Barrett rebounds over 4.5. The smaller plays, I'm going to do something with Cam Whitmore because he shows up on the algo. And then Peyton, what was his name? Peyton Watson. He showed up in a lot of my research. His PRA is only 11.5. And actually, it's right there. So Peyton Watson, 11.5 PRA. Oh, he was a mini diamond. And, I mean, that number's low. Look, 27, 18, 24, 22. So he's been skying over that. He could miss it. You know, he doesn't play but 20 minutes. But, you know, in a game where Denver's favored 6, maybe they get up a little bit. He gets a little bit more run. So I'm going to do like an R.J. Barrett, Cam Whitmore, Peyton Watson, put them together. Rebounds under, Clay under 3.5. I might tinker with Barnes under 7.5, although that one's a little bit more risky. Jalen Williams and Josh Giddey, PRA, I like them over. 3-point shots, I like Paul George over 3.5, Wemby over 1.5. And then if you're going to do any alt points, the 3 that came up in the Hayes picks were Kobe, Mathurin, and Tatum. And I'll probably tease those down a little bit to a plus money. Anyways, I hope this helps, kind of walks you through the process. Good luck and talk soon.